what's happening? Uh, just wanted to talk about some not so commonly talked about, like, biblical issues. I mean, I wouldn't, or I mean, they don't study stuff like this, it seems like, enough. I mean, then again, I'm not in every church and I'm not in every group of people, believers in their congregations. But this is some of the stuff that I like to know about, like biblical themed stuff. There's a prophecy in Isaiah, and it talks about that the lamb shall lay down with the lion, and the babe shall put its hand over the hole of the adder or the cockatrice, and it shall not be bitten. And the lambs will like drink the milk of the cows, and so will the lion cubs. I mean, uh, just the other day I was sitting out there and I was having this interplay with these birds. I look, when I have bird experiences, it's not just one bird. It's like a group of birds. You know what I'm saying? Like now it happens all the time. I mean, I don't can't quite explain it. You can't say I'm the bird whisperer now. No, this is something different. This is just uh I think I just passed a point and reached a certain level where it's like awareness and intentions. And like it's almost like kind of like how people say they open doors and demons can come in now. Well, there's another way you can flip that and you can open the door and you can have a relationship with Jesus and God. And you can even open a door where you can almost you're aware of something, and that since the door's open, the animals can communicate with you, kind of. You know what I'm saying? This is just one way that I kind of look at it and think that it can be explained. It's through the awareness of these things. It's like more things become possible to you. It goes either way. If you become a hardcore blood sacrificing Satanist, you open the door to have certain kinds of dark powers. You know what I'm saying? But God will also allow dude, you can lay hands on and heal people. You can lay hands on people and cast out demons. You can say, you can just have faith in God and He'll open the sea for you that you can cross on dry land. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying or you can be thrown into the lion's den, and then for a week later they'll open the door. You'll still be there, and those lions will be sitting there looking at you. You know what I'm saying? Instead of devouring you. Uh, that's because this is what I'm talking about here. And I knew you were probably thinking, see, this guy's a witchcrafter, man. He's crazy. But no, it's just, do you really understand what you claim to serve? You know what I'm saying? And all these things that have happened, and we have these examples. And like I said, even I know that there was men, like the men of renowned, but there's also something called the men of valiant, which were in the spies, the scouts, God's scouts. You know what I'm saying? Also, you know what I'm saying? The men of valiant could sling stones with either hand or shoot a bow with both hands and switch. And this one guy that was a man of valiant, what didn't have no weapon, a giant Egyptian came at him, and the dude stole the spear from the Egyptian, then slayed him with his own spear. Just like David hit Goliath with a rock, ran up, took his sword, then cut his head off with his own sword. I mean, God definitely has members of his crew that count coup, that get down, that can go one on one. You know what I'm saying? Long range, medium range, hand to hand, all that. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, this is all accounted for in the Bible. I mean, Samson went and got 100 foxes and lit their tails on fire, dude, all at once. Do you know how hard that is to do that? How in the heck did he snare 100 foxes? You know, did he have just 100 foxes waiting? Or did some of God's men have different tricks there? They could be like, hey, God, I need you to pull a favor for me here. And then 100 foxes would appear to be caught. You know what I'm saying? They would almost be like under subjection to you. It's not that they're subjection to you, but God has given you authority at that moment to have subjection over animals for his glory, for his glorification, for God's glorification, not for your glorification, not for the animal's glorification, for God's glorification, because this is his creation. And these are the cool things that he does sometimes and can be done. But what I'm saying is, like, people think, they're like, man, this don't make sense about Noah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Unless you understand about Adam, like how Adam had a job to go out and name every single animal. Do you think he not taught his sons how to name the animals and the plants? and different techniques of after the fall, of manipulating the environment and the produce thereof. And who instructed Adam, who instructed Satan, who put the knowledge of good and evil there in the first place? I mean, people just fail to, we get so caught up in the details that we fail to see it's not mentioned, but it's contained there. You know what I'm saying? If you read it, it's like we get too caught up on what it says, and miss what it's really saying. Yeah, does that make sense? We pay so much attention to what it says, we miss what it is saying. You know what I'm saying? In a way, sometimes, and then you go back over it a few times. You're like, duh, damn, man, that was there all along. But yet, all this contention and all this time wasted, striving. But I mean, I guess if you can get past the striving and get a good result, some progress there, I guess it was worth it anyway. But I feel that there's also, you could be cursed where you can be consumed by wild animals. Like wild animals will come out of nowhere and just eat you. Like that's what happened to the prophets of Baal. You know what I'm saying? That bears came out of nowhere and devoured these men. So the way Christians, they're so sanitized these days. They're so afraid to dabble where I'm dabbling. Like, no, listen, I want to see power. Power from on high. If anything good descendeth from above, because it was given from God. You know what I'm saying? As a gift unto man, for his glorification. You know what I'm saying? So people just forget these things. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, man. The ram in the bush, man. There's an animal that makes a mistake right at this exact moment in time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All right, well, like it was just coincidence. No, it just goes to show you faith. Your faith will be rewarded if you trust in God. And even if something looks really bad, you just don't know how to. It was like, nah, it was just a trick. Like the other day, I was wondering. I was like, man, it was a beautiful day. Not one bird was chirping, and I was saying to myself, I'm like, man, what's up? There ain't not one bird here, and they were just totally quiet. And as soon as I said that in my mind, all of a sudden, I heard a little woo 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 here and there and there, couple birds, and then all of a sudden, birds just came and just encamped all around, and they were just all singing and making all this lovely noise, and we had this little interplay in exchange, me and these birds, and I was thinking about in Isaiah, and it talked about the birds rejoicing at his coming, and then the hills and the trees all clapping together and just waiting, and God talking about giving himself a new name, and then teaching everyone his song, you know what I'm saying, in his name, and how he will restore this back to us. And we have lost something. Even David, he made instrument and song unto God. And I think that is the best fruit you can have. Is like, all right, I've did all my work. I have food. I have shelter. I have knowledge of God. I've done works for God. I've even done bad and have been forgiven by God. So I'm going to use what's left, this other productive energy, and I'm going to give it unto worship songs, or thank you songs, appreciation songs, songs of encouragement, songs of remembrance. You know what I'm saying? And this is something that we don't really do. Nowadays, dudes are taught to do this kind of vain babbling, this self-orientated babbling. Like, I got the most chicks and I make the most money. You know what I'm saying? I got my micro chip and I eat my chips and dip. And I got enough extra money to go and see a girl that strip. You know what I'm saying? They get us caught up in the vein, like just a vain babbling and just pride of life. I mean, that's our music. Pride of life, all strife, pride of life. Yeah, sell your soul, pay the price. That's what I hear out of music. Love your bondage and shit. I mean, no, that's what I see. It's like, hey, the musicians of Baal have to make it look good to serve Baal, and they get treated that way because it's like it keeps the slaves in line without no doom doom doom. You know what I'm saying? The whole dance would stop. You know what I'm saying? The whole game of musical chairs would fall apart, but they got to keep the music going. Listening to Daniel, it says that the music plays, and everyone had to play the game and bow when they heard the music. And America's got its own formation of that. Say you had a DJ at a party and you were there, and every single kind of music that he played, you didn't like none of it. Everyone would kind of be like, "Man, you're a party pooper, man. You don't like nothing." And I mean, that's it. It is like that in these days too. Like, what's wrong with you? Why don't you like nothing that we try to play for you? You know what I'm saying? I mean, or something. They just get offended like that, and that was kind of like what was happening at the time of Daniel. That worship of the state and the government and this false god, their supreme leader, ruler. When the music played, everyone had to worship the ruler. You know what I'm saying? And hey, do we not see something similar to this sometimes? Especially nowadays when we got everything set up with all these weird ritualistic concerts. You know what I'm saying? And then proceeding or right in concert with bombs going off and games like political just agenda distraction, psyops, agitation, pure pressure ops. And now they're even dabbling in, will you invoke these demon ops? I mean, that's crazy. Black magic. That's super black magic, spiritual. Uh, that's definitely some side, like some men who stare at goats type thinking. You know what I'm saying? That's some Machiavellian men who stare at goats. Uh, I mean, that is spiritual sabotage. That's like open up the back door gates. And then as soon as you get Charlie in there, then these guys know you're influenced by Charlie. Now they can have their channelers all sitting in a room like they have remote viewers. They'll have 20 people sitting in a room all remote viewing you. I mean, I watched that on a ninja episode where they were saying, are ninjas real and how would these techniques work today? And it showed how the CIA or these intelligence group had 30 people like this, like Professor X, trying to get details on the information on this assignment that was going on, and they got pretty accurate. It's strange. So, uh, all these things, you can see. I mean, and here's the thing: if sometimes when you see how the dark side operates, it's like, well, if the dark side's got this power, then you're going to say that if you're over here in God's camp, there's not going to be power. Like, I mean, it's not that the power's coming from you, or even they're in Satan's camp. The power ain't coming from them; it's being loaned to them by someone else, and it's the same thing over here. Uh, you just the acknowledgement goes out for you give credit unto whom credit's due, and it's not. If anything, there's only one thing that we have in this equation is faith. You know what I'm saying? It's like it doesn't even matter, dude. Your faith will make these things happen. That's what even Jesus said. He's like, it was your faith that healed you. It's what he said to the woman that touched him. So, without the faith, listen, you could have all the authority and the ability. The gates could be wide open, but if you don't go in there and have the faith to activate it, it's almost like it's a big gun that the only way to pull the trigger is with faith. You know what I'm saying? And it's a spiritual thing. It's non-physical. But I mean, even though there'll be physical things you'll see you doing because you're active in the faith, like you'll be praying, and it's like you don't have to. You can do that. Listen, you don't have to tell no one you're praying. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to do nothing special, though you can. But no, you can just sit there and pretend like you're being normal. You can pretend like you're watching TV. But in your mind, no, you're meditating on the word and you're praying against things. You're praying with things. You're praying for things. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. It's really active. It's an active role. Even if you're falling out of being active, that means you're understanding the interplay. Like, nah, there's an influence that's trying to make me weary. It's trying to make me give up, or it's trying to keep me it's just trying to keep me a little busy enough to pull me off just for a minute, because that's all it takes sometimes. It's just a little thing, and that one thing leads to another, or it's just a way to bog you down. You know what I'm saying? And since you gotta always resist these things when you can, when you catch them. But and there's ways to do it. It's just you always gotta stay active in this.